Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to this new video. And in this video, again, I'm going to keep a very tight angle on this. But here what I'm going to do in this video is render Zadok. And this is a panel from page 5 in my 10-page preview comic that I'm working on at the moment. And if you're not aware, I am currently working on this 10-page comic with the intention of getting this out to you guys for the moment in digital form. But the idea is to I'm working on this comic, and it's about my characters. His name is Zadok, and in this comic, Zadok is taking on one of the big bad guys. His name is Deathmonger. And the idea of this preview is just to get the people an idea of what to expect from my comic. This is just a preview, but hopefully later this year I'll get to start working on the main book. And once I get started on that, I'll continue with this, showing you as I work on those panels and things like that. So this is just a video showcasing that. I don't want to take too long, but I think I will. Just be aware that this might be a pretty long video. Probably not extended too long, but we'll see what happens. And just to show you what's been going on in the previous video, you saw that I did these black areas. And so usually after I do the black areas, I begin rendering, which is what I'm going to do in this image. Just render everything out. And that's usually my process. Now, my process is pencils. I do the bodies, the figures, and everything, and then I define these lines here. I define these lines, I want to make sure that this is exactly the line that I want to give you. And these lines here, all this. Once I have these lines defined, then I go over it with a very thin line, not too thick, just a thin line, very thin line. The reason is because later, during the rendering stage, I play with the line weight with these lines. So I want to make sure that that's the line that I want, but then in certain areas I give it more line weight. Why don't I start off giving the line weight already defined? Because everything always depends on my light source, and normally with the way that I do things, I have the flexibility of putting the light source up at the top, down at the bottom, to a side. And so, for example, if I put the light source, if I put the light source right here, then the light is going to go shining that way in an upwards fashion. And so obviously this can be the dark side, so I can't have this be this dark. So my line weight would have to switch, and then I have to put it much darker on this side. But in this case, my light source is up at the top, and so it's shining down, and so this is going to be our darker side. So with the way that I do my art, I have that flexibility of putting my light source wherever I need it, which is cool, because I get to adapt my drawings any way that I like. So that's just the way that I work at the moment. Now, I could change things as I want, so anyways, without too much rambling, I'm sorry, it's already 3 minutes in. Sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and start rendering. So just to get into the habit, I think I'll start with let's see, I don't know, whatever. Let's start here. Normally before you start rendering like this, I like to do these practice lines like this. I don't know if you can see this. Here we got the very bottom. Just to get a feel for what the line is going to look like, and if I like this line, which in this case I do, and if the motion in my hand, I like this motion that I'm doing. And I'll show you like this motion here. Like if I'm comfortable with that motion, or if I need more practices, so that's I tend to do that. All right, so I'm going to start here. Let's take a look. This is coming out nice. I don't want to give away too much of this preview, so I'm trying to keep a very close, tight angle on this. I want you to enjoy the book. when it's out, as I have it planned. Yeah, when I first started thinking about doing this, I was really far away from what I want from the story. Like I wasn't too happy. I'm sorry, not happy. I just wasn't as far into the writing process of the story as I would have liked. And the writing is it's not tedious, but it is a lot more difficult than I had anticipated. There is and there are elements of writing that I'm not too keen on yet. So I'm trying to write. The writing is taking a very long time. I'm not a writer per se, so but I want to make sure that I have a competent story to tell you, and I don't not just throwing anything out there for you guys. Like I want to make sure that the story that you guys see is a good one, one that's good enough to get you to come back to take a look at the second story. So I want to make sure that I do good by you guys and put out a good book. And so I know that the art can get you but so far, and I want the story to keep you with me, to keep you here invested into this in this IP. And so in terms of story, I want to make sure I do it right. So I'm going by what I feel should be elements of the story. There's from what I've read and from what I know a little bit about writing, there's specific character arcs that have the character grow and become someone different from where the story first started. And that's something that I like, especially about this character and about the story that I had envisioned. So I'm trying to think of situations and events and things that happen in this character's life that'll make this character change throughout the course of the story. So we see him in one specific way, and so through the things that happen in his life, we're going to see him become someone different. Not completely different, but just, a more mature person who's gone through things. You know how life gets to you, and these things make you mature. And I don't know if we saw any of that, but yeah. And so yeah, having to write these events is not that easy. Like it's really difficult. At least for me, it is to see. Not really difficult, but just I want to make sure that the events that I make this character go through are events that will lead this character to evolve and learn and become a better person, or just mature in that sense, I guess. And so I have to think about that. So it's a little difficult. And but I mean, I think I've managed to come with an idea. I'm just trying to finalize some of the major events in the story. Just trying to finalize some of the major events. Just trying to make sure that the events that I include are that they all make sense and connect well, or relatively well. I also had to think about the side characters, which I didn't think too much about earlier. There's another friend that appears a lot in the promotional art, which is his friend called Silas, and he's very prominent in the story. He's got he makes a big appearance in it. And I want to have a story that's and he apparently also has to go through some kind of a story arc. There has to be an arc to him also. So I had to think about that. I had to think about what I want for him as a character. And so these types of things are things I have to consider when I'm doing the writing. So if I write an event, the event has to shape not only this character but also any other side character. So it's interesting. It's an interesting thing that I'm going through with that. So the story is the story for the main book. I keep saying it's 3/4 of the way done. I just have to find the final part to finish, and I've been doing some writing in respects to that recently. So I am moving along with that, and yeah. So regardless, I think that no matter where I end up, because I'm writing the story as I'm also drawing this. Seeing these characters in these panels are also giving me ideas, but it doesn't matter where I'm at the end of this 10-page preview. I'm gonna not do anything more with this story with these characters until I get that main story finished and sent out to the editor. I want to go ahead and start working on that. God willing, I will be able to start drawing the main book this year. I would love for that to happen. If I can get maybe like 5 pages in for the main book by the end of the year, I will be very, very happy. Because there's also like a lot of things that there's a lot of things that I have to do in preparation for the first story, which is like character art. I've had to design characters for the story, which I'm not going to be which I won't need to do once I get into the main book, because those kinds of things would already be done. So like for example, I got his character art done, I got the bad guy's character art done, I got Silas's character art, like I got all this stuff done. If anything, I think I have to design like CDs and things like that, but it shouldn't be too bad. And yeah, I should use that line. And yeah, this has been an eye-opening experience, because I thought comics, I didn't think it'd be as complicated as it is, because what makes it complicated are the people involved. Not that people are a-holes, but it's just as soon as you get someone involved in making your comic, and your comic isn't really dependent on everything you do, you have to also be dependent on that person. And if that person, for example, slows down, then the rest of the assembly line can get affected also, and that sucks, because like everything is done step by step. And for example, if I'm a writer and I want to write my a comic, I need to get an artist to draw it. And so when I get an artist to draw it, then I have to make sure that the artist finishes the art on time, and then does all these things on time, and presents the art in a very professional manner. And so you hire someone that's got good art on social media, but what happens if they don't do the work on time? What happens if they have other projects lined up they don't tell you about? All these things can later slow down the assembly line, because you can't give your colorist any work if there's no line art to color. So that's one aspect of comic making that I wasn't fully aware of. That's because going into this, I had thought that I was going to do everything, like the colors, everything. I thought I was going to be like just going to be in charge of doing everything myself. But no, that's too much work. I think it wasn't going to be fair for me or for anybody if I did everything, because there's so much I have to do. Like, I have to write the story, I have to draw the story, then color the story. Oh man, I'm not a very good colorist per se, so I can technically put color on it, but just because I can put color on it doesn't mean that the colors are going to be great. So I have decided to delegate that work, send that work out to other people who know what they're doing. get some get a colorist and get a colorist and whatnot to do his thing, and yeah, man. And so yeah, I mean, so technically, you'll be at the mercy of these people, whether they do their work or not on time, and that's pretty scary. Because what happens if they don't do it? So you have to be very careful who you hire responsible people. And this is the challenge for not just me, but for everybody. Everybody's in that boat. You hire somebody because they got good skill, but then sometimes things happen and they don't do the work on time, and yeah, that affects everything. There's a lot of examples I can mention, but I won't. And if you're in the indie scene, you know what creators out there have had run-ins with things like that. But I never bash any of that stuff because I understand it. That's why I'm trying to do my best to prevent it. But I mean, I understand things happen, and it is a scary prospect, man. See, when I'm doing this, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna put this video out, no matter how messed up it might end up on the other end, because I can't hit undo on these lines that I'm putting down. They're done. And these lines you see here, they're done. And so yeah. Let's see, what can I do here? See, for example, in this hand, there's no rendering lines. Like, there's no line for me to just say, okay, I want to ink that, nothing. It's just what it is that I have here, and so I have to interpret it, which to some cases is cool, but in other cases it's not that cool because you can make a lot of mistakes in the rendering stage, which is things that I tend to do. And yeah, I think that'll be good enough for a hand. And yeah, I'll go over the contour of that. This. 10 pages. How long will it take me to do it? I started doing this December? November, I'll say November. And I took almost all of December off. So technically about a month so far. And this would be the second month. And I am currently on page 5. Yeah, I should be finished, I'm assuming, in March. I'm assuming at this rate that I'm working, I would say March is a pretty safe date. March. What about the colors? What about the letterer? Originally, this wasn't planned to be a colored project. I was planning on doing this strictly grayscale. But man, after I saw Matt Yankee color the cover to the preview book, I thought, man, it might be worth looking into to get it colored. Maybe not by Matt himself. He's a bit expensive, but by somebody else, maybe who can do something similar to what he did. Similar, but not replicated, because Matt is a one-of-a-kind colorist. He does really, really good work. I was just blown away by what he did on the cover. I had a feeling too, man. I had a feeling that if anybody's going to get this right, it's going to be him. If anybody's going to know how to render these characters, how to make him look cooler than they really are, then it'll be him. And he did not disappoint. He did everything very well. You're not too happy about those random lines right there. And I'm going to the 20-minute mark. I hope this is worth the time. Oh man. Yeah, so after I saw Matt and the colors that he did for the cover, I was like, man, I gotta try to get this color. And yeah, I think I found someone. And hopefully they'll tag along for the entire ride. I won't make any announcements yet because I'm afraid that I'll say something and then the colorist pull out of the project for whatever reason and then leave me hanging without a colorist. So if I do end up getting this colored, I'll make the announcement after everything is said and done. So I don't want to promise something that I'm not going to fulfill on. For example, physical books. I am not promising physical books. I would love to include a physical book, but no. This project is digital. 10-page digital. How much would it go for? I don't know. These are just questions I'm asking myself, but I don't know. I'm playing with the idea of $5 for 10 pages. I don't know if that's fair or not. Considering the art that I'm doing, I don't know. We'll see what happens. If you think it's too much, please let me know. I think $5 is too much for. What would you charge? I don't know. What would you charge for 4 or 5-page digital? Yes, just to also show you my process for rendering. And what you see me do here is normally what I do for all of my rendering. I do the lines, the little small, these lines here, just the line art. And then after that, I go and do the blacks first. And what I mean by blacks is just these solid black areas. And after I do the solid black areas, I render outward according to the light source. Also, and yeah, so that's normally how I work it. It's normally how I work the piece. You can see me do all this. Yeah, supposedly this line here that you see, this dotted line here, not the solid line, not the solid one, but this one right here, that's where the page cuts off. So I'm doing art where it's going to get cut off, but yes, it does not matter. It does not matter. I want to do this right. So that kind of thing does not matter at all. It's wear and tear. A little bit of wear and tear here also. After all, he has been in the fight. Oh, he is in the fight, I guess. That does that. And yeah, this project is a passion project. This is a story that I've wanted to make since I was in high school. I created these characters in high school. And once I got into the indie scene and started seeing like all the awesome comics that people have been making, I thought, hey, I could make a comic too. I have a pretty good story. I'm sorry, not a pretty good story, but I have a story that I want to tell. And so I was like, man, how do I go about making my own book? And this is where I'm at now. These comic pages that I'm drawing on, you cannot get this in Peru. So I have to go to Amazon, through Amazon, and they ship this stuff out. And yeah, they ship it out. And I got like 3 packs of this Strathmore paper. Yeah, that was a risk. I had no idea how good the paper was going to be. I kept looking at videos to see what people say about it, if they recommended it or not. And what ended up doing it for me was a video that I saw by Jimmy Reyes. He's an inker, a professional inker, and yeah, he's got it on his YouTube channel. I think you should check it out. On his YouTube channel, he talks a lot about inking and what papers he uses, what tools he uses, how he goes about inking. And in watching one of his videos, he kept talking about the Strathmore series. And then I also checked with other artists, and other artists have also used the Strathmore series. And yeah, and then I even checked the indie comic creators that also use Strathmore, and I've seen just people on social media also when they post their artwork. I check what kind of page they use, and I saw that Strathmore wasn't always what people use. There's other paper out there like Eon boards and stuff like that, but but I've seen enough people use it to where you know, it made me think that it's not so bad. It's not so bad of a brand. And yeah, and I put I paid for for um for three batches of of the art. I'm sorry, of the paper. And man, it could have gone one of both ways. Like it could have been like, you know, really bad paper, and I would have had to deal with it, or it could have been, as it turned out, you know, really good paper. This is actually, in my opinion, better quality paper than the paper I use. This paper that I use here is a little bit rough. This one's a lot smoother, and I can't imagine a neon board, because neon boards are supposedly more smoother than this. So that would be pretty interesting to see. So yeah, that's the character right there, rendered out, yeah, completely. The only thing I have left to do is the cape. There's a cape here. I have to do that cape. I'll do that once the video is done. Then I gotta do this back part here of the cape, and then that'll be it. But yeah, that's Zadok. That's how he looks like. It says, and you can see this in color, with all the nice with the letters and the texting and all that stuff. The letterer. You get to see all this hopefully around April of this year. So be on the lookout. Subscribe to the channel, so you can stay up to date on anything that I may post in regards to Ominous. That's the name of the comic. The comic is called Ominous. And yeah, so if you like the video, please hit the like button. Please also hit the subscribe button and share the video out. Tell all your friends about me. And look at this right here. I forgot to do that. I forgot to draw the other half of his arm, the little piece of his arm. But yeah, so please be on the subscribe to the video. Leave a comment, please. Leave a comment. Comments also help out a lot. Even if the comment is to say that I like the video, or hey, how you doing, or whatever, just leave a comment, please. And yeah, that's it. That'll be all for today. Thank you very much, and I will see you later. Take care. Peace. And before you go, don't forget that I'm working on my own comic. It's called Ominous, and it starts with a 10-page preview with story and artwork by yours truly, featuring this sweet cover colored by the awesome Matt Yackey. So be sure to follow me on Twitter and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on everything.